Hello. Welcome to the intuitive card reading for April 6th through 12th. You guys know what to do. Please like this video. Please share this video with anybody that needs to hear the energies and the influences of the week. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so. I would really appreciate that. Comments down below. Even if you want to pop in to say hi, that's awesome. Hello back. And I answer all comments as well. But I would love to hear if these messages resonate with you or not. I'm kind of putting them out to the ethers, so feedback would be appreciated. Even if it doesn't resonate or you have a question or something, that's always welcomed as well. Same 3 decks that I've been using, no surprises there, all shuffled, and all in a order that feels intuitively aligned for this reading. Okay, let's jump right into it, guys. I always strive for under 25 minutes, so let's get going. All right, what do we need? Ocean waves. Okay, so this means this is kind of similar to cycles, but it's kind of like instead of, periods of, or maybe like seasons of cycles, this is more so like of an up and down kind of motion. So basically it's saying we need up and down motion. How could we interpret this more? Maybe we need to, maybe we need to stop something. Maybe we need to do, maybe it's saying like, we need to do like a little bit of something and then maybe pause, a little bit of something, then pause. You know, you guys, if you've been listening to my channel, you've heard me talk about this is the universal year 1 of new beginnings. You know, a lot of people out there are looking for new beginnings, fresh starts, things like that. And it's almost kind of saying like it's not necessarily going to be like that. It's not going to be like a stop. It just might be a start, stop, right? So it's not necessarily like a black and white thing. That's what I'm getting here. So if you really, you can kind of feel your new beginning coming and maybe, it's not fully there, make sure to do like the little things that could possibly get you there or get you ready for that, I would say. Also, it's saying it could also be like waves come crashing down, like something needs to be washed away. It could also be symbolic of that. So basically it's saying it's under the need. So it's saying we need to kind of like wash something away. I think we had similar energy maybe last week. I can't necessarily remember, or even for the monthly. If you haven't checked out the April monthly, please do so. But yeah, it feels more so the former, where we kind of like the waves kind of come and they go. And so it's kind of like if you can, if you can't do something fully, do something a little bit, even if you have to stop a little bit, or even if it's not full throttle, if it's not like full, speed, that's fine. It's not saying that you should go full speed. It's basically saying like, at least start it, even if you have to stop it, even if, you can't go again fully into it. So start whatever is part of your new beginning, or move more towards the new beginning as you can, even if it's, again, not at full speed. Hopefully that makes sense. But let's actually see what's under action needed. Maybe we can get some clarity here. Healer in the shadow, taking advantage of those who need help, failing to care for oneself. Okay, not literal, but okay, we need to take action needed on the shadow of the healer. Okay, so we need to take action on failing to care for oneself. All right, so we need to take better care of ourselves. We need to act as our own healer. Take that as you will, whatever journey that you're actually on. I'm definitely getting a feeling of this energy of help ourselves. We need to help ourselves. We need to actually take action doing that. So go ahead and do that. This isn't a time about thinking about what you need, because something tells me you do know what you need to heal. And so this is about pulling the trigger and actually doing it, because it's under action needed. So if you've been thinking about going on a particular medicine or something, and you've been just like kind of going back and forth with it, this is basically saying like, you know what you need to heal, go for it. Now, I'm not a doctor. Please talk to your doctor about what medications you want to go on. That was just an example, but there's an action that you need to take to take control and of your own healing, basically, and get it done is basically what that's saying. All right, issue we have here and now. Okay, so we have issues with staying present, which is interesting because I think the last time we actually had it in the change spot where We're becoming more present. Maybe not the exact same card, but very similar energy. So we're having issues staying present in the day by day. So even if it's been changing, even if that, I'm pretty sure it landed in the change slots, at least in the last couple of weeks, possibly the monthly reading, but it's around this time, around this week. So if we're having issues with that, we've got to power through. If we have obstacles with staying present, if we are getting too anxious, if we are getting too depressed, depressed thinking about the past, anxious thinking about the future, this is saying, no, we have to be here and now and just get through today. I know we've gotten cards like here and there, like talking about the future. Maybe we'll get some more in the reading, but, Spirit is still asking us to focus on the present, focus on today, getting through today. What do you need today? That kind of thing. All right, what else is challenging? Sage purification. Okay, so it's challenging to purify something. I always think of people going on, fasting or purifying their body in some way by doing like some kind of detox. That's what I always think about with this. The picture there, the image is sage, which, purifies any negative energy basically in different environments. So there is, we have to kind of purify or wash away. Interesting, kind of connected there to the ocean waves card. Start clean, start fresh in that way. It's under challenge, so we're having a hard time doing that. This could, again, quite literally be maybe you wanted to start a healthy eating diet this week, and you're definitely having challenges with that. Maybe you are trying to, maybe you just moved to, you moved to a new location, a new house, and you're trying to, and you feel bad, negative energy, and so you're trying to actually clear that energy, and it doesn't feel good. It still doesn't, still doesn't feel quote unquote right. And so there's something that you're trying to purify, but you can't necessarily do that, and it's a challenge for sure. And again, could be like, could be like literal in that way. Maybe. Let me think of another example here. I always think about like energy, and obviously I'm going through like health issues, so I think of like health stuff. But if this resonates with you, in a different way, I would totally love to hear it in the comments, if you feel called to share. But yeah, just, I always think of like a detox and trying to, purify your body and that kind of thing. But obviously we're having some challenges. Change is advocate. In the light inspires you to put compassion into action. Okay, so that's what's changing. We're becoming our own advocate. Honestly, I almost wanted to say the word advocate when I was talking about healer. Like, we have to take reins of our own healing journey and actually take action on what we need. And then we have so it's kind of saying like being, like when you're your own healer, you're an advocate, right? I mean, it's kind of hand in hand. So I like that that's there. And it kind of doubles down on what's under the action needed. So we are putting compassion into action. So we're advocating for ourselves, like I said, with the healer, we're advocating for other people. We're speaking up for ourselves more. We are speaking up for others more. We are, putting we're actually doing something about the things that maybe are going on. There's a lot going on, politically and that kind of thing. So, could definitely be that for sure. Like actually doing something, trying to make a difference in your community, trying to make a difference in that way. So we're actually doing that, and that's changing. So if you've been feeling helpless, again, about the state of the world, things that are going on, or helpless to yourself, in some way, shape, or form, that's changing, and I love to see it. It's very, very much giving empowerment energy. All right, focus, between worlds. Okay, this is the kind of card that I kind of wanted to see in our monthly, and the kind of card I like to see when we're trying to transition to that new life. It's because it is the transition. If you look at it that way, because it's the between world, it's limbo. Okay, so it's kind of like you have your one foot in the old world, other foot in the new world. And I always liken it to like, as an example is like moving, you might have stuff in your old place, and then you might have some of your stuff in your new place, and you didn't necessarily move in one day. It's just kind of like been like a gradual thing. And so basically it's saying like focus on where you're at in limbo, and focus on what needs to be done in limbo. It could also mean like focus, like being like you're in limbo, stop beating yourself up if you're not in your new life and you're not quite in your old life, or you're feeling down because you're in this limbo. I know that resonates with me, where it's just kind of like, oh, just get here already. Just get here already. I just want the newness to begin, like that kind of thing. But I actually think it pairs really well with the ocean waves, because it's basically saying like, you don't need to, like I mentioned, you don't need to be completely in your new life, or, living your new dream, or whatever it is. You just have to do the little things, even if you have to stop. You know what I mean? Like, even if you can't do it fully, even if you can't do it all the way, even if you can't, finish it, just start it, is basically what it's saying. So think of the little things you can start to help accompany you into that your new life, and your new experience. But yeah, I can also read this as like over focusing too much on, oh my God, I'm not there yet. I'm so confused. Like, it definitely comes with confusion. It's like, I'm confused. I'm like in between, and it's weird, send help. Like, like I don't know what to do in this middle ground. It's very awkward. Maybe like you're going through a divorce. You're not completely divorced. You're not ready for dating. You don't know where you're going to live. You don't know anything. It's very confusing. It's the unknown. It actually doesn't have to be the unknown. You could see where your life is headed, and it's just not there. Honestly, that's kind of my situation. I'm very clear on what I want to be doing after my situation is over. It's just I have a physical barrier. It's really annoying. But it could be linked to the unknown. Okay, so I like that there. So basically, don't over focus on the negative parts of that, is what that's saying. All right, we have wilderness, untamed. Okay, so this is some wild energy. I love this. Okay, so this is actually under reflect. So, not necessarily acting wild this week, but this is under the reflect. So basically it's saying to think about all the times that maybe you feel the most free. Maybe the times that you feel the most wild, the most crazy in a good way, in a positive way, the most uninhibited, the most free spirit, like, and really kind of like figure out, if there was like a time in your life, especially like if you have felt that way, and especially if you haven't felt like that in a really long time, it's about kind of reflecting back on that, because reflect asks us to introspect, but it also kind of makes us look at the past, at like pattern recognition and things like that. So think about the times in your life where you most felt that way, and how could you recapture it? It's like a heavy one for like a good journal prompt, but I have a feeling a lot of you are going to be kind of nudged with this, getting this feeling, about, you haven't been feeling free, and you just kind of want to break out of something, and, think about the last time that you were young, wild, and free. Young spirited. It doesn't matter, your age, but yeah, so I like that, and that's definitely something I'm going to ponder for sure. All right, responsibilities. We have addict, but we have it in the light. Helps you recognize and confront addictive behavior. Okay, so this is this comes with like a level of self-awareness, because it's in the light. So I usually use like a gambling addict, like that you can't go to a casino. That's the addict in the light. It's like you're very aware of your addictions. You're very, you're able to pinpoint it. You're able to confront it. You're able to say, oh, no, I can't handle this. I can't handle going to a casino, things like that. So it's your responsibilities to act that way. So to be like that, to understand what your triggers are, understand what your, addictive or negative patterns or behaviors are, and to nip it in the bud and it's under responsibility. So, and saying like, be responsible. So that literally could be you, I gave that as an example, but maybe somebody invites you to a casino this week and you're like, no, I cannot do it. Okay. Know your limitations, know what you might be tempted by, notice what might not be good for you and say no, like things like that. So it's a big topic, but it's under responsibility. So, and it's in the light. So it's telling me that you guys are responsible. You're going to be responsible. So good job. I'm saying good job, ahead of time. I know it's like hard to break bad habits or, say no to that. Like maybe it's a friend's birthday and they're having a casino. It's a big birthday and they really want you to go. I know it would be hard to say no to that. So give yourself a pat on the back, but know your limitations this week. I think that's very, very important. It's really kind of jumping out to me here. I know we have an important slot, but responsibilities is pretty important in my opinion. Okay, money and finances. Okay, we have mending. All right. So there's something about, so it could be, I think we had similar energy possibly last week. Mending your relationship with money. You might be mending a coworker relationship or some kind of relationship with a partner when it comes to your career. Maybe you're a writer and you had a writing partner and you guys separated for whatever reason. And now you might be coming back together to write something. Maybe you're a lawyer and you separated from your partner and now you want to get go partners again. Maybe you split up like 10 years ago or something and now you want to get the gang back together and go back into business with each other, that kind of thing. But it's lucrative for your finances. Like I'm getting a lot of really positivity coming through here. Like no, this is abundant for you to mend with somebody. Use your own discretion, use your own discernment, and of course, use your own intuition. If it was a bad business partner or a toxic one who stole all your money and they want to go back into business with you, all I can say is use your own intuition. You are responsible for your own choices, but that's what the energy is saying. So I must report it. The other thing might be, you might be mending finances with someone. Okay, that's also jumping out as well, where maybe you are now jointly splitting your finances. You could be getting a roommate, and it's helping your financial situation. You might be pooling together money with other people to help you save money in some way, shape, or form. Maybe, you are trying to get somebody like a going away gift and, 5 of your other friends want to chip in with you. So, it makes the cost, the burden of the cost less on you, on just you, if everybody pitches in. Like there's something here where it's kind of like a collective thing, where, pool, like it's saying, basically the message here is like basically saying like, if you pool your money together and if you join your money together and your finances together, it's going to be more lucrative for you. I know like some people are like very iffy sometimes about that kind of decision. I know I am, like just thinking about like if I ever got married, like I that's one of the things I always kind of like think about. I don't love the idea of merging finances and things like that. But in this case, it's saying like, no, it's actually really abundant for you and it's going to be beneficial for you to do this week. But again, I must say my disclaimer, please use your own intuition and discernment when it comes to something like that. Okay, surprise, we have lightning breakthrough. Okay, so a surprise breakthrough. I like this. All right. So you break through something that maybe you've been trying to break through for a really long time. Maybe you're in couples counseling with your significant other and you just feel like they don't understand you, they don't get you, they're not understanding where you're coming from, and then boom, breakthrough in therapy this week, in couples therapy. Could be a physical issue. You have a breakthrough there. Maybe you have a breakthrough with your, maybe it's like a parent-child relationship that you have a breakthrough with. Like you finally feel like you break through to your child. There's some kind of, I don't even want to call it an aha moment, but it's because that's more of like a download or like an intuitive insight. This is more so like of a, you've been working on something for a really long time and you finally effing finally get through to someone or something. You have some kind of breakthrough. Maybe you've been like on a list for something, okay, for like a really, really, really long time, and you finally break through. Or you've been really like, maybe you've been like trying to get into the music industry and you've been really trying to get like your demo tapes out there or something, and this week it's like finally, I don't want to say it's your big break, but there is a breakthrough. It's enough to be like a lightning strike, kind of thing. And it's under surprise, so it kind of comes out of nowhere. I love this for us. For like, I'm telling you, these three here are they're like jumping out to me here. Okay, so, all positive though. Okay, like I'm like, especially like going from the mending and then definitely the breakthrough. It's a positive thing, okay? Breakthroughs are positive. So, especially this one. And it's just going to be really lucrative. And like I said, I feel like almost like a relief feeling as I'm reading this. Like, I'm like, oh my God, I'm like relieved. I've been doing this for so long. I've been doing, like, maybe you've quite literally been trying to break through the music industry and get like some kind of big break for like a dozen years or something crazy like that. So yes, it could be big, but like I will say like major, I don't like, in this case it would be like after a long time, not necessarily you become Taylor Swift, if you get what I'm trying to say. So but it's a breakthrough, okay, nonetheless. So I love this for us. This is really great. I'm really excited for that. All right, we have friends, upside down, divine child, and inability to defend oneself against negative forces. Oh, I don't love this. All right. I'm not gonna lie, guys. This is not great here. After such a high here, these last few. Okay, so I'm getting the vibe. All right, just roll with me here about friends, community, family, poking at some childhood stuff that triggers us, especially when it comes to maybe bullying. I know it's not the bully card exactly, but we have been getting that one here and there, and on and off for the last several readings, I would say. But it definitely does feel like there's something going on between friends, community, family, triggering your childhood stuff, and it's not great. I'm not gonna lie. There's like some teasing coming through, where maybe a friend is like teasing you and they don't really mean any harm. It's just kind of playful, and it kind of hits you in the wrong way this week or something. Yeah, something along those lines. Like maybe the joke goes too far or something like that. Like the making fun and the mockery goes too far. So there might be something about that there. But could just be in general like being triggered from childhood by something maybe a friend, a community member, or a family member does. Family member makes sense. Friends can make sense too. I've been having like realizations about my friendships as well, as it relates to like some childhood stuff. So, but that's been kind of ongoing. So that makes sense here, but I wonder if it's going to peak this week, but we will see. But yeah, very interested to see how this manifests for you guys. Okay, romantic connection, new life. Hello. We've got the new life and romantic connection. That's a surprise. Okay, so there's some newness. I've been begging for newness, but I didn't expect it here. But here it is. This could mean so many different things. You met somebody new and you're entering like a new relationship, or it's the start of something new, or you're in a regular relationship, not regular, long-term relationship, and it just feels like you're starting, doing a fresh start in some way, shape, or form. Maybe it's linked to the breakthrough. I don't know. This could be you're moving to a new city with your partner and starting a new life. Maybe you find out that you're pregnant and you're obviously starting a new life with your romantic connection in that way. It's like now you're a family, or maybe a big milestone happens. I know this is a weekly reading, and I don't, maybe, I don't know, it can people get engaged this week? Possibly, yeah. But it definitely just, there's some kind of newness that accompanies your romantic relationships. And I'm getting a positive vibe coming from this for sure. Exciting new beginnings when it comes to romantic connection. All right. I would have liked this card somewhere else, on the I almost said board on in the reading, but it's here, and that's what we do. We read what's here. All right, you guys gotta let me know if you meet like the love of your life or something. in the comments, please let me know. I love romance, so let us know. All right, what's important? Focus. Okay, so it's important to focus. Okay. Focus on the task at hand. Don't be scatterbrained. My ADHD people, take your meds. Focus. Do the best that you can. It could also mean what was mentioned in the focus slot here about not overthinking about the limbo situation that you're in general too much. Don't overthink it, kind of deal. So that could definitely be it as well. But this, it could also mean like concentrate, get what you need to get done, finish what you need to finish, that kind of thing. Health and wellness, we have God. Okay. Benevolence and compassion, recognizing the eternal force within yourself and others. Yes, I like this here. It's almost like it's like playing God under health and wellness, which is interesting. But I like it because it's also another card of initiating that we are taking control of our, in this case, health and wellness, right? We had the healer, we had very direct action from Spirit saying, you've got to take care of your own healing. You've got to take the reins on that. And then we have the advocate, basically saying that we're advocating for ourselves, speaking up, that kind of thing. And then we have the God, which is again being your, within the God within you, like your own sovereignty, your own higher self, your ability to take care of yourself, your ability to get things done, your resilience, like all of those things. And it's in the light. So this is really good under health and wellness. So yeah, take the reins, right? It's just, they're like basically all roads lead to personal empowerment is basically what this is saying. Like, you have the power, you've got to make it happen. You have made it happen, just really quick. I know we might be like running close to time. How I would see this is, I've been going through my health issues that, I mention it all the time, but, it's the only thing I've got going on right now. But over the last like 4.5 years, yes, my faith has been super important to me, relying on the universe, praying, like things like that have been very beneficial for me. However, I'm the one that's healing myself. I can pray to Archangel Raphael all I want. I'm the one that is doing the protocol to get myself better. I'm the one that is eating the foods that I'm supposed to eat to heal myself. Like, I'm the one that has the power to decide what foods I put in my mouth, right? So, you can pray to God all you want. You can pray to the angels all you want. But if you're not actually taking the reins and you're actually making, helping yourself heal, and you're doing the work, you and your human body are doing the work, that's what this is about. It's about our inner God. It's about us being God, like, yes, obviously my entire life is about faith you know, and trusting the universe and all of that stuff. But you also have to trust yourself, okay? You also have to follow through yourself, you know, that kind of thing. So I love that. Very powerful message. So, okay, we have overall outcome. Time to go. Okay, so you guys, it's time to go, and it's time to go for me to wrap this up too. But one final message we've got is time to let go of something, realizing that it's time to let go of something, starting to let go of things, maybe in waves, you know, going back to the waves, not necessarily cut and dry, which is what we would like to happen, right, with the between worlds, but it's not going to happen that way. It looks like it's going to be happening gradually. Again, a reminder, guys, if you can't fully be into that new life, start doing anything that you can, the little things that you can that can help usher that in, even if you have to stop, you know, show the universe that you want it and you're trying to get there, that kind of thing. So, but yeah, I'm feeling this overall outcome. I think by the end of the week, like into the weekend, we're going to start feeling like, okay, you know, it's time to go, which I've been feeling like for a really long time. I like to see it here. I like to actually see the energies align with what I've been feeling on the inside to what's happening on the outside. So I like that. So yeah, it's kind of, we're getting ready, gearing up to let the things go that no longer serve us. So I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, guys, anything I would see as a red flag, we've got some hiccups up there and the issues and challenges, but we always do. Friends, community, family may trigger us. Watch out there. But I really like this, the middle here with the, the surprise money and finances and responsibilities. Some good stuff happening here. Yeah. Looking good. Looks like a good week. So, okay, guys. I see you in the next one, okay? Thanks for watching. Bye.